What's up, BHPH Success Group? I am Rudy with Bell's Auto Sales here in Austin, Texas. I'm very early on in my buy here, pay here dream. I have 16 accounts today, and I just want to give back in a way that I can to the group. I don't really have any experience, with 16 accounts, but I just wanted to crunch some numbers for you guys and just kind of show y'all how the consumer is being squeezed and how PTI, the rules of thumb might be a little outdated, especially with inflation. So right here, I'm showing, the gross of someone in 2019. This is average. This is not a subprime customer. This is just an average American in the country. And this is about what their take home is, from 5725 to 4804. Okay, cool. A lot of people, I know credit acceptance does 25% of the gross is what they think a car payment should be. And so in that world, in 2019, people were making, or rents were about 1250, right? So it's about 26% of their net income, right? Food is about 10%. Electricity and insurance are relatively low, but they do compound over time as they increase, So a PTI in this area of 25% would be about 1431. And this leaves about $1,500 of a life budget. About a third of their take-home pay, or 31%, is available for whatever comes up in their life. Clothes, kids, a car repair, gasoline, all that is coming out of the life budget, right? And now, after the inflation, the COVID and all that, well, everyone's incomes are up, right? In average, right? Are up 8%. But their net is actually down. And that's because of progressive tax rates where as you make more money, you get taxed higher on the increased amount. So people are a little worse off just from the taxes. They're worse off by at least 1%, right? Their rents. Now, I'm using national numbers. I'm not sure if I use national or Texas-based for this one. I'm here in Texas. But rents have increased quite a bit over the past 5 years. And I know in Austin, which is, a boom town, doing good, has had really bad rent increases, right? So maybe if you're in Buffalo, New York, or small town America, maybe the rents haven't gone up as much. But, you're talking about now from it being 26% of their income, it's now almost 34%, or it is 34%. Food costs have gone from about 10% of an average person's budget to 13%. And this is, I'm doing like an aggregate of a single person that is doing pretty decent, right? This is someone that's making about $72,000 a year, probably above average income. I'm just using average incomes. I'm not like targeting down to the subprime. I think things are going to be even worse off for the subprime kind of income range, right? Electricity has gone up. That's gone up 33%. A third up. Food is up over a third. Rents are up almost fucking 50%. And the main thing is their life budget is down significantly. This is why people are like making the most money they've ever had, but they feel the most broke because they're making more money, but it is not enough to make up for the loss of inflation. These increases everywhere, it takes away from purchasing power. And this life budget, you just can't do a car repair when your entire check of what's left after everything, you just can't even do it. And so one of my argument is that maybe the 25% of gross PTI number needs to shrink, because that number did work in the, sorry, someone's driving a motorcycle or something. That 25% worked in the past, but as you know, in America, I think we're kind of seeing the rich get richer and the poor get a little poorer. And so, you know, in our business is to tell people what they can afford. You know, if they knew how to manage their budgets, they wouldn't be in a buy here, pay here situation. And they think, well, I'm making more money than I've ever done. And if you tell me that I should pay X amount, sure, I'll tell you I can pay it. I want to drive off in the car. I have a 800 down, you know what I mean? And so I would think that car payments have to go down. And I think this might be explaining why charge-offs and repo rates are on the rise. And that it's not that customers have changed, it's the costs of everything else have gone up. And, you know, as the lenders, as the bank, where we're the one loaning the cars, I would say that we need to try to get people in cheaper car payments to make them more affordable, right? And it might feel like we're taking the loss, right? But the thing is, people have to eat. They need a place to live and all that, right? And we have control. You know, we get paid 24% interest, right? Or whatever your state max is. So I think that gives us more leeway to try to increase the collectability of our loans. You know, because just giving someone a big payment doesn't necessarily get them, that doesn't necessarily make us more money, right? And if we look at, you know, I use credit acceptance very little. I've struggled with them, but I see that they love to do low payments. And I think it's because it increases the ability, not only does it increase the interest, but it also increases the ability of a customer to pay, right? Where it's just too easy to say, oh, yeah, I can wing it, compared to higher amounts. So it's just something to think about. I think there's lots of big portfolios where if you had cars bought in COVID, let's say it was an 8K ACV in COVID, and now it's 2-3 years later, that ACV of that car might be 3,500. To where the vehicle's depreciated, the consumer has been squeezed, so he doesn't have as much money to pay for something that he bought at an inflated price. So I'm not exactly sure what the answer is. I mean, where you can do contract modifications and decrease the payment, I would say probably not. But I would think going forward, lowering prices just to make them more affordable to actually fit into their budgets. These people's life budget has dropped over a third. And just to visualize it, I put it here. You know, these are the rents. As you see, rent went from about 25% to over a third. But the main thing is the life budget. The life budget has shrinking a lot, almost half. I guess it's what, 37% shrink. So I think that's on us as the bankers. And I mean, we don't want the car back, and especially if they're deflated in price. That somehow we have to figure out. I mean, I guess I'm kind of rambling now, but making the payments more affordable so that consumers can have a successful loan rather than a few months and then we have to repo. Or as soon as they have a problem with the car, they used to have $1,500 a month available to, you know, for whatever they need in their life. And that number is now less than $1,000. Even though they're making $500 more a month, they're actually they have a less life budget. So just something to think about. You know, I'm a newbie. If y'all have any disagreements, I'd love to hear it. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me if you're feeling the charge-offs. I'm hearing that, you know, in the podcast world and all that. And I think this is probably an explanation of what's going on. Good luck.